Our next question, Jim, sent in to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com from Jeremy Casperson. AEW instituted steel cage match rules that the match may only end by pinfall or submission. This differs from the old rule of being able to escape the cage via the door or over the top.
I can tell how old people are asking the question when they say that's the old rule.
What do you feel the rules should be? Please consider multiple factors such as the presence of a manager outside the cage, blading, a Jimmy Snuka wrestler jumping off the top of the cage when they should realistically be climbing down, etc.
Well, they shouldn't realistically be climbing down or the cage doesn't make any goddamn sense, which is why it's been insane to me, the whole escape the cage bullshit. Which I actually, when I first went up there and was doing a promo for Bret Hart and Yokozuna in the cage, I was doing my NWA cage promos about how there's no way out. They're going to be locked in. And then they said, no, the idea is to get out of the cage. I'm like, what the fuck? It does not make sense. Look at the pretty monkey. The whole idea of the cage matches, the original cage matches, was always to do one of two things or possibly both. Keep anybody in the match from running out of the ring and running out on his ass kicking, or keep anybody outside the match from interfering. Whether you had a manager that had constantly interfered, we're going to put him in a cage, he can't get in, or whether you've got a guy that's running and trying to take a count out to keep the title, or just running away from the babyface's final revenge inside a cage. And it started from the days of, Paul Bosch used to fucking claim Galveston because they had it was a fishing village, Galveston, Texas, and they had fishing nets around the ring in the 30s, or the old chicken wire cages. Because, the early promoters, even they did this in the 80s in Tennessee. They didn't want to spend the money to have a cyclone fence made. So they just bring out rolls of chicken wire and wrap it around the fucking ring post. But all the way through the cyclone fence, the whole idea was to keep and there must be a winner. That's why it was the ultimate blow-off match. And if you didn't overdo it, it always drew. And that's as soon as it became not the ultimate blow-off match and overdone, it didn't always draw. I remember one time in 2012, Gary Jester said, we've got to draw a house on this show. Can't we put a cage in there? So yeah, we can put a cage in there and spend $300 and sell $200 extra tickets because everybody's seen fucking, now they want the goddamn elimination chamber or a roof or fucking running water and toilets in the fucking cage. The escape the cage thing came two different places. They did it in Los Angeles when Fred Blassie was the top babyface and had a big program with the Sheik, and Sheik wasn't going to do a job in Los Angeles. So they made first one out of the cage to make it different. And they used that in New York for Bruno when it wasn't even like a close escape. It was like he was going to beat the fuck out of the guy that had been fucking him around and then dramatically say, open the door and walk out of the cage. There was no fucking drama to it. The idea was the heel had so much heat, the people would pay to see him pulverized into dust and then he'd usually be gone. And then they kept, because Vince Sr. or Vince Jr. kept a lot of his dad's old rules, but it became an easy out where you didn't have to beat somebody. But it also became so stupid and so contrived, the dramatic climbing and guys who wouldn't do it right. One would be on the top of the cage. The other would be nowhere near able to catch him. Still, the guy'd be waiting and milking it, right? Or fighting on the outside of the cage or on the top of the cage in a stagey way when it was obvious that somebody could have got out of there. Or then they have to throw a guy through the wall of the cage, or they throw the guy through the door. And then they made the cages bigger, as I said, with running water and electricity and elimination chambers and plexiglass and fucking whatever the fuck. And that's why nothing that they have done to the cage has been in any way good for it. But still, if you built to it, and I'm not even saying what AEW did was right with the rules, yes, but if you built to it and put it on pay-per-view and said the culmination of this long blood feud will happen in this cage where there must be a winner, it might still draw, But it wouldn't be automatic because they've prostituted it like they've done everything else. But that's the way that evolution came about.